Hello, Web 110. Welcome to week 2 and lesson 3. In lesson 2, you spent a little bit of time working through an HTML document. In lesson 3, we're going to start putting things onto the server, and you're going to use a program called FileZilla to do that. FileZilla is a professional piece of software. It's also open source, but you can absolutely use it in your professional work. And what FTP does, or it stands for File Transfer Protocol, and what you do with that is you take files from your local machine and you put it onto the server. And it's very important as you get into the habit or as you become a web developer to get into the habit of working in your local environment, getting the code correct in your local space, and then uploading the files to the server. And that helps speed up your process. It might seem like it doesn't take very long to take a file and push it up to the server and then press refresh. But if you add up all of the times that you need to do that in a development cycle, you'll find that it really does take up a lot of time, maybe even adding hours to the overall task of creating software or creating web. So be sure to have an environment where you can see what it is you're producing in your local environment, and then you upload it to the server. Okay. It took me a minute to figure out how to get logged in, and I want to see if I can help mitigate some of the problems that I had for you. So mitigate some of the questions that you might have with this. Okay, so the directions in lesson 3 talk about the FTP, and there is an example in the lesson that shows them as well. But there was a couple of nuances to this thing, and I want to make sure that I have this correct for you. And let me see if I can pull up this thing. So first of all, when you're connecting with FTP, you're connecting to a server, right? So in our case, we're using this server, and this is in the instructions in the lesson. And then you've got your username, and this is your student username, the username that you'll use for your email, I think. But anyway, it is the yes, it is your your Wake Tech email address, the first part of it, right? Just the log, just the name part of it. So if your name is John Doe, it would be J Doe at Wake Tech, but you don't put the at Wake Tech here. It's actually at this host. All right. So and then you have your password. And it took me a minute to figure out the password too. So what it says in the instructions is the first 2 letters of your first name, capitalize the first letter, and the first 3 letters of your last name, capitalize the first letter. So be sure to capitalize that second part, and then the last 4 digits of your student ID number. You should have all of that information. Okay, so this is FileZilla after it's been loaded up, and I have the host, the username, and the password already in here. And then I want to bring your attention to this View tab because my Quick Connect bar wasn't present. And I was like, oh gosh, where is that thing? And so I had to go up to View and toggle that on. And maybe that'll be there for you, but that's how you toggle these things on. This area is your computer, and this area is the server once we get connected. So I'm going to do, oh, and I messed up my quick connect. So here, let me do that real quick. So I'm going to drop that in, and then my address is VF Galavas, and then my password, I've got that password written down here. And we'll copy and paste that in there, and then quick connect. All right, so I am getting this message here, unknown certificate. That's fine. You can press OK. And you could also toggle this always trust this certificate for future sessions, and then press OK. And then did it do it? Yes. And then here we are. And then here's Web 110. And then I would double click into this, and I would create a folder in here that might be lesson 3 and put my files into that folder. Okay. So that's just there's also a video on in the lesson, but I wanted to point out this view thing. and emphasize the capitalization in the password counts. Okay. All right. Quick video, and we will see you all later on. And can I turn this thing off without making that happen?